I came home from work that evening, the apartment smelling faintly of Sarah's perfume and the leftover curry from lunch. She was on her phone, sitting cross-legged on the couch, eyes glued to the screen. "Hey, Sarah," I said lightly. "Dinner's almost ready." She didn't look up. I frowned. That tone. It wasn't the same warmth I was used to. "Everything okay?" I asked, leaning against the doorway. "Everything's fine," she mumbled. I stepped closer, my heart tightening. "You've been distracted lately. Is it work? Or—" "I said I'm fine," she snapped, finally looking at me. Her eyes were cold, sharp. That caught me off guard. "Why do you always have to interrogate me?" "I'm not interrogating. I'm worried. You've been on your phone all the time, leaving early, coming home late. What's going on, Sarah?" My voice shook, though I tried to sound calm. She stood up abruptly. "Worry? You want me to worry? You think I'm happy living like this? Struggling every month just to pay bills? Do you know what it's like to look at your friends' lives and feel trapped?" I blinked, stunned. Sarawe always promised we'd get through this together. We said money isn't everything, we're building our life, slowly, but together. She laughed, bitter and hollow. "Together? Don't make me laugh. I can't live like this anymore. I can't. I'm done, okay? I'm leaving you. I'm filing for divorce." I felt my stomach drop, my chest tightening. What are you saying?" "I'm saying it's over. I can't stay with someone who can't give me the life I deserve. I tried. I really did. But I can't anymore. Goodbye." She turned and walked out, slamming the door behind her. I sank to the couch, numb. The room felt suddenly smaller, darker, the silence suffocating. My hands trembled. I couldn't breathe. She's leaving me. For this? For money? Later, I called Ali. I needed someone. I needed a lifeline. "Ali," I whispered, voice breaking. "She left. She divorced me." There was a pause, then his steady voice. "So, Hale, what happened?" I ran a hand over my face. She said she can't live like this anymore. That I'm poor. That I can't give her what she wants. I don't know what to do." "Okay. Breathe. I'm here. Listen to me. You are not defined by her. You're stronger than this. We'll fix it." I laughed bitterly. "Fix it? She's gone, Ali. She doesn't want me. She never did." "Yes, she wanted someone else. But that doesn't mean your life is over. You're smart. You work hard. You'll rise again, I promise." I didn't feel promise. I felt hollow, like someone had carved a piece of me out and left the rest behind. I don't even recognize myself right now. I feel broken. "You're not broken," he said firmly. "You're hurt, and hurt can become power. Trust me, one day you'll look back and see this was the start, not the end." I hung up, staring at the ceiling. The apartment felt emptier than ever. My thoughts raced, memories of our laughter, the nights we stayed up talking, her hand in mine, promises whispered. All gone. The next morning, I checked my mail. Among the usual bills and advertisements, a white envelope caught my eye. Elegant handwriting. Sarah Khan. My hands shook as I opened it. "You're invited," I read aloud, my voice barely a whisper. "To my wedding to Fahadan the 15th of this month." I dropped the card. My heart pounded. The ground beneath me felt like it had cracked open. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. The anger and disbelief collided with the heartbreak. She left me, humiliated me, and now invited me to witness it. I picked up the phone and called Ali. Again, voice trembling. "Ali Sheshi sent me a wedding invitation. Can you believe it?" He was silent for a moment. Then, calm but intense. "So Hale, this is your moment. Not to fight, not to beg to rise. She wanted to humiliate you, but you're going to shock her. Trust me. Start preparing. Show her what she lost." I swallowed hard, a bitter smile forming. My mind started racing, not with revenge yet, not even with hope. Just a flicker of resolve. Maybe this wasn't the end. Maybe, just maybe, This was the beginning of my story. And I promised myself one thing that day: I would never be powerless again. AHP 2. The days after Sarah left were unbearable. I could barely face anyone, and when I did, the pity, or worse, the judgment, in their eyes cut deeper than any words. "Hey Sohail, are you okay?" my cousin Ahmed asked during a family lunch. I forced a smile. "Yeah, fine." He didn't look convinced. "I just don't understand how she could do that. You two seemed happy." I swallowed hard. "People aren't always what they seem," I muttered, staring at my untouched plate. Later, my mother called. "Sohail, what happened? Why didn't you tell me?" I gritted my teeth. "Mom, she left. There's nothing I can do now." "Oh, Beta." Her voice broke. "I'm so sorry. I can't imagine. Just stay strong, okay?" I hung up, feeling a mixture of shame and helplessness. Everyone was whispering. Friends, relatives, even neighbors. I could hear the snatches of conversation when I walked past. "Poor guys, he left him for money. Did you see him at the office? Broken." I clenched my fists, heart pounding. Broken? Maybe I am. One night I sat alone, flipping through old photos on my phone. Sarah smiling at me during our first anniversary, the way she held my hand on rainy days, the laughter we shared over burnt dinner experiments. Each memory stabbed at me sharper than the last. I wanted to scream. "Why? Why did you do this?" I whispered to the empty room, voice trembling. "I loved you. Everything I had, I gave you." My phone buzzed. "Ali, Sohail, how are you holding up?" he asked when I answered. I laughed bitterly. Holding up? Ali, she left me. My life, my pride. Everything feels like it's gone. "No, man. Don't let her take everything," he said firmly. "Look, I know it hurts, but you're stronger than this. You can rebuild. Trust me." I shook my head. "Rebuild? How? She's already moved on. Look at her Instagram. Luxury resorts, fancy dinners, smiles with Fahad. It's like she's erased me." Ali sighed. "I know it hurts to see her like that, but focus on yourself. Don't let her happiness, or her arrogance, define you. This is about you now, your life, your growth." I didn't answer immediately. I stared at the phone, at the pictures she posted daily. Every smile, every sparkling outfit, every caption about her perfect life. It was like salt in my wound. I wanted to hate her, to curse her, but more than anything, I felt betrayed. Not just by her, but by the world, by fate itself. The next day, my office colleague, Mehak, noticed my pale face. "Sohail, you okay? You look off." I forced a weak smile. "Yeah, just personal stuff," she frowned. "If you want to talk, I'm here. Sometimes sharing helps." I appreciated the offer but didn't take it. Instead, I muttered, "Thanks. I'll be fine." That evening, I met Ali at our usual cafe. I didn't know if it was relief or anger, but I started talking, pouring out my thoughts. "She left me, Ali. She just left me. And now she's flaunting everything she wanted from me. It's humiliating." Ali leaned forward. "I know, and you feel betrayed, but humiliation is temporary. Focus on what you can control, your skills, your career, your life. Don't give her power over your emotions." I can't stop thinking about the moments we had, how she smiled at me, how I trusted her. Everything feels like a lie. Ali's voice softened. "People change. Some choices are selfish, yes. But you can rise above this. You don't have to sink into bitterness." I shook my head, voice low. Bitterness is the only thing keeping me awake some nights. I keep imagining, what if I had done more, been richer, better? "Don't torture yourself with what ifs," Ali said firmly. "You did everything you could. She made her choice. And one day she'll realize what she lost. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually." I frowned, a flicker of something dangerous stirring. Eventually, huh? I muttered, almost to myself. Maybe. Maybe I'll see that day come. And maybe I won't just wait for it. I'll make sure it happens the way it should. Allie noticed the shift. Careful, man. Channel that energy into your life, not revenge that destroys you. You can shock her without losing yourself. I nodded slowly, a cold determination forming inside me. For the first time since she left, I felt a spark of control. My life wasn't over. Her betrayal had hurt me, humiliated me, yes, but it had also ignited something I hadn't felt in years, a fire to reclaim myself. That night, I scrolled through Sarah's posts one last time. Each image, each smile, each luxurious dinner was a reminder, not of my failure, but of my next move. I clenched my fists, whispering to the empty apartment, "You'll see, Sarah. You'll see everything you lost, and I'll be standing stronger than ever." For the first time, heartbreak didn't feel like the end. It felt like the beginning. I stared at my apartment ceiling that morning, the sunlight slicing through the blinds like a spotlight on my failure. I couldn't stay like this forever, moping, staring at old pictures, drowning in regret. Something had to change. I muttered to myself, I can't keep letting her win. Not like this. I have to rebuild. No, I will rebuild. The next day at work, I threw myself into projects with a vengeance. Every email I sent, every spreadsheet I organized, every client call, I gave it all. Mehak noticed. "Wow, Sohail. You've really stepped up these past few days," she said as I finished a report. I looked up, surprised. "I guess I needed a distraction." She smiled gently. "Or maybe you just realized what you're capable of." I chuckled softly. Maybe both. Her presence was comforting, not intrusive. I didn't know if it was the new energy in my life, or just the human kindness I'd missed, but talking to her felt lighter. "Don't let people's choices define your path," Mehak added. "Your work speaks louder than anyone else's opinions." I nodded, feeling a spark of determination. "You're right. I need to focus on myself, on what I can control." Later that evening, Ali called. "How's the rebuilding going?" he asked. "Slowly, but better." "I'm focusing on work, and well, Mehak's been helpful," I admitted, a small smile forming. "See? That's progress, man. You're taking back control. Keep pushing. And remember, Sarah's wedding? You going, or staying hidden?" I paused. Her invitation weighed on me like a storm cloud. I don't know. Part of me wants to avoid the humiliation. Another part wants to confront her, show her she can't break me. Ali's voice turned serious. "Sohail, this is your chance. Not to fight, not to beg, just to stand tall. Show her she underestimated you, and more importantly, do it for yourself, not for her." I rubbed my temples. "It's complicated. I don't even know what I want. Revenge? Closure? Or just to prove her wrong?" "Then decide before you go. You can't walk in confused. Confidence matters more than anger." I hung up and stared at the invitation again. The 15th. Her wedding. Fahad. Every word burned like fire. I clenched my fists. I won't be humiliated. Not again. She left me, betrayed me. But that doesn't mean I stay broken. I'll walk in, and everyone will see me stronger than ever. The next week, I immersed myself in work even more. Mehak often checked on me. "You okay, Sohail?" "You're pushing yourself hard," she said gently. "I have to. I can't stay stagnant. I need control," I admitted. She nodded, her eyes kind. "You're doing the right thing, and you're capable of more than you realize." I smiled faintly. "Thanks. It's good to have someone believe that, even a little." Work became a shield. Every completed task, every satisfied client, every compliment from colleagues fueled me. I felt myself rising bit by bit from the pit Sarah had thrown me into. One evening, I shared my thoughts with Ali over a call. "I keep thinking about her," I confessed. "About what she said, what she did, about how easy it seemed for her to replace me with him. Ali's voice was firm. Sohail, don't let anger consume you. Use it, yes, but let it drive growth, not destruction. You want her to see you stronger, not bitter. I nodded slowly, even though he couldn't see me. I know, but it's hard. Every post she makes, every smile with him, it's like a reminder of what I lost or what I'm about to reclaim. Ali laughed softly. That's the spirit. Reclaim, don't destroy. Make her regret her choices by thriving, not by scheming. You'll shock everyone. Her friends, even yourself. Stared at the invitation on my desk. The edges were crisp, elegant, almost mocking. I whispered to myself, fine, I'll go. I'll see her face, her new life, and I'll walk in. Confident, strong, in control, not broken, not afraid. The day of the wedding crept closer, and fear gnawed at me. Would I stumble? Would I cry? In front of everyone? The thought of humiliation made my stomach twist. But then I thought about Ali's words, about Mayhawk's encouragement, and the weeks I'd spent working, pushing, proving to myself I was more than my heartbreak. I clenched, my fists again, determination hardening. No, I said aloud. I will not let fear stop me. I will not be invisible. I'll show her, and everyone else, that I am not the man she left behind. For the first time in weeks, I felt the dark resolve settle inside me, like cold steel. I wasn't just going to survive this. I was going to rise. And when the day came, I would walk into that wedding with fire in my chest and dignity in every step. The storm cloud of Sarah's wedding invitation was still there, looming, but now it fueled me instead of frightening me. I was ready. HP for the wedding venue was overwhelming. Gold chandeliers hung from the ceiling, sparkling like stars, and crystal vases overflowed with fresh flowers. I could feel the chill of marble under my polished shoes and smell the subtle blend of perfume and expensive cologne. This was a world I hadn't belonged to before, yet now I walked into it, aware of every eye turning toward me. Wow, I muttered under my breath. She really went all out. The whispers started the moment I stepped into the grand hall. Is that Sohail? A guest murmured. Another voice. He looks different, stronger. I straightened my back, letting the reactions wash over me. I could hear Sarah's footsteps halt behind me. Sohail? She said, her voice tight. I turned slowly, letting my eyes meet hers. Sarah. Her face went pale. I didn't expect you. I let a small, controlled smile curl at my lips. I always said I show up where it matters. Fahad, her fiancé, stepped in front of her, eyes narrowing. And you are? I'm the man she left, I said evenly, watching Fahad's confident facade falter for a split second. Sarah swallowed, glancing around nervously. Sohail, please, don't. What? I asked, voice low, calm. I'm not here to cause a scene. I'm just here to arrive. Her cheeks flushed. Well, you look different. Different? That's one word for it, I said, letting a faint smirk show. I've worked hard since everything fell apart. Mayhawk's face appeared in my mind, her encouragement still echoing. I straightened my jacket, adjusted my cufflinks. This is it, stand tall. Don't let her see weakness. I moved through the crowd, nodding politely to acquaintances who whispered, their eyes wide. Look at him, someone muttered behind me. He looks successful, confident. I reached the front, where Sarah stood next to Fahad, both of them resplendent in designer outfits. I studied her expression, shock, regret, panic, not the fear I wanted, but close enough. Everyone, meet my future husband, Sarah introduced Fahad, trying to regain composure. I smiled, politely nodding. Congratulations, Fahad. I hope you're prepared for the responsibility. His eyes flicked to mine, calculating, wary. Thank you. Sarah cleared her throat. Sohail, please don't ruin this day. Can we just what? I interrupted softly. Pretend I don't exist? I let my voice carry just enough to turn heads. I'm here, Sarah. And yes, I exist. But don't worry. I'm not here to steal the spotlight. That's all yours. Her lips pressed thin. You don't understand. You shouldn't be here. Oh, I understand perfectly, I said, glancing around at the luxury, the smiles, the applause. You left me, and you thought this would be your perfect life without me seeing it. Funny thing about life, sometimes timing and effort matter more than appearances. Fahad stiffened beside her. I noticed the subtle tightening of his jaw, the way he avoided meeting my eyes. That's the first ripple, I thought, savoring the feeling. A guest leaned toward me. You look amazing. How did you? I cut him off with a nod and a small smile. Hard work, perseverance. Sometimes betrayal is the best motivator. Sarah's hands trembled slightly, fiddling with her bouquet. Sohail, why are you doing this? Just leave. I'm not doing anything, I said calmly, stepping closer. I'm just present, observing, watching karma quietly take its course. Isn't that poetic? Her eyes darted to Fahad, who shifted nervously. This isn't fair. Fair? I echoed, voice soft but cutting. I loved you, trusted you, and you left me for money, for comfort. Life isn't always fair, Sarah, but it is precise. She couldn't meet my gaze. I let my smile linger. A moment longer, savoring the subtle tremors of justice in the air. I turned slightly, letting other guests see me confidently stand tall. Whispers spread. Admiration, curiosity, some pity. I didn't care which. I only cared that I was here, unbroken, unashamed, powerful in my own right. Congratulations, I suppose, I said finally, my tone neutral, almost polite, letting my words cut without cruelty. Sarah's lips quivered. Fahad's jaw clenched. I didn't need to say more. The room, the eyes, the tension. Everything spoke louder than any insult I could throw. As I stepped back, letting them regain control of their stage, I felt a rush unlike anything before. No anger, no sadness, just a quiet, thrilling high. I had arrived, fully aware, fully in command. The day wasn't over. The wedding continued. But in that moment, just standing there, watching her flinch ever so slightly, I knew something had shifted. I wasn't the man she left behind. I was more. The reception was in full swing, laughter and music filling the grand hall. I moved quietly along the edges, observing, listening, letting everything unfold. The opulence surrounded me, but I hardly noticed. My focus was sharper now, more deliberate. A group of guests whispered near the dessert table. Did you hear about Fahad? One woman murmured. He's not as perfect as Sarah thinks. I've known him before, manipulative, always looking out for himself. I froze, heart pounding, but a slow smile forming. Fahad? Not perfect? This was new. Another voice joined in. I always said Sarah picked him for status, not love. She's done this before, you know. Left someone because they weren't enough. I gritted my teeth, a flash of vindication rising. She's hearing this too, even if she doesn't know I am. I stepped slightly closer, pretending to examine the drinks. Their whispers continued. Remember her last boyfriend? Poor guy thought she loved him. She left him without a second thought. This is classic Sarah behavior. I swallowed, letting the words sink in. I felt a strange calm, almost satisfaction. Karma, I thought. Sometimes it works quietly, without me doing anything at all. A gentle voice broke through my thoughts. Sohail? I turned. Mayhawk stood there, her brow furrowed with concern. You're Looking around like you're hunting someone. I chuckled lightly. Not hunting. Observing. Her eyes followed mine. Observing what? I shrugged, keeping my tone light. Life, people, their true colors. Mehak smiled faintly, as if she understood. Seems like you've grown, stronger than when we first met. I felt my chest tighten, not from pride, but from something warmer, steadier. I had to. Life teaches you quickly when people leave, or lie. She nodded. I'm glad you didn't let it break you. I glanced toward Sarah, who was chatting with a few friends near the stage. Her laughter sounded forced, her eyes darting occasionally toward Fahad. I noticed his impatience, the way he checked his watch constantly, the subtle sighs whenever she spoke to someone else. He was far from perfect. You see that? I whispered, under my breath, more to myself than to Mehak. He's not what she thinks. Mehak followed my gaze. I see. And you're okay seeing it? I smirked slightly. I don't need to act. Sometimes watching is enough. Life unfolds its own justice, she tilted her head. And you? Do you feel vindicated? I laughed softly, almost bitterly. Maybe a little, but not for her, for myself. I see clearly now. I survived betrayal, humiliation. Watching her facade crumble, even subtly, it's enlightening, Huck. Nodded thoughtfully. I think that's true strength, not revenge, but clarity. I glanced back at Sarah. Her carefully crafted image, laughing, sparkling, perfect, wasn't perfect at all. Each interaction with Fahad revealed cracks. A sharp word here, a tense glance there. Guests whispering around them, not realizing I could hear. She's realizing it too, I murmured. Even if she doesn't admit it, she's seeing the truth. Mehak leaned closer. You handled your heartbreak differently than most. You didn't lash out, you didn't stoop to pettiness. You stayed yourself. I nodded slowly, absorbing the praise. I realized revenge isn't always about action. Sometimes it's about dignity, composure, letting life show the consequences naturally. She smiled, eyes warm. And that makes you unshakable. I felt a small spark of hope, mingled with a growing comfort in her presence. Not the chaotic thrill of jealousy or anger, but steady, reassuring, real. A waiter passed with champagne, and I accepted a glass, letting my gaze wander subtly. Sarah was speaking rapidly now, perhaps trying to cover another awkward moment. Fahad's hand brushed hers impatiently. I could see it all, clear as day. Ironic, isn't it? I whispered quietly, swirling the drink. She tried to escape, her problems seeking status and comfort, only to find it's not what she imagined. Mehak raised an eyebrow. And you? How do you feel? Stronger, I said without hesitation. In control, not bitter, not broken, just watching, understanding, growing. She smiled softly again. I think that's what people fail to understand. Strength isn't always loud or visible. Sometimes it's quiet, patient, like you. I let her words settle. The whispers around me, the unraveling facade, the subtle cracks in her perfect life. They were all part of a lesson I'd internalized. I wasn't defined by her betrayal. I wasn't a victim. I was rising quietly but steadily. Sarah's laughter rang through the hall, forced but fragile. I took a deep breath, feeling the calm satisfaction of someone who had survived the storm and finally saw the truth. I raised my glass silently, to clarity, to growth, to karma that works in its own time. The HP6I hadn't expected Sarah to approach me. After all the whispers, the eyes, the subtle cracks in her facade, I thought she'd keep her distance. But there she was, hesitating just a few feet away, her heels clicking against the marble floor. Sohail, can we talk? She asked, voice tight, a mix of desperation and fear. I looked at her calmly, taking a slow sip of champagne. Of course, Sarah. Where shall we talk? She glanced around nervously. Somewhere private, please. I nodded, following her, to a quieter hallway near the reception hall. Her breathing was uneven and her hands twisted at the fabric of her dress. Sohail, I know I hurt you. I made a mistake, she began, stumbling over her words. I raised an eyebrow. A mistake? Leaving me, abandoning everything we had, calling it a mistake? That's your explanation? She flinched slightly. I didn't mean to. It's complicated. I thought I needed better opportunities, a better life. Better life? I repeated, my voice steady but sharp. You left the man who loved you, who trusted you, for money and appearances. That's your justification? She shook her head, eyes pleading. It wasn't just that. I felt trapped. I thought I was helping both of us. Helping? I laughed softly, bitterly. You call betrayal help? You call abandoning someone the person who stood by you? Help? Sarah, don't try to dress selfishness in pretty words. Her lips quivered. I didn't know it would hurt this much. I didn't think. You didn't think? You didn't consider my feelings once. Every day after you left, I felt humiliated, broken, worthless. I trusted you. I gave you everything, Sarah, and you threw it away for convenience and comfort. She looked down, shame creeping across her face. I regret it. I really do. I let a slow smile form, not cruel, just calm. Regret doesn't undo choices. It doesn't erase the nights I cried, wondering why the person I loved most could abandon me for material gain, she whispered, barely audible. I was selfish. Yes, you were, I said firmly. Selfish and short-sighted. And now you see what you lost, but it's too late. I've survived it. I've grown. I'm not the same man you left behind. Her eyes filled with tears, and I noticed the subtle tremor in her hands. Sohail, please, You don't get a please to fix this, I interrupted. You don't get a chance to undo the betrayal. The damage is done. The choices you made, the words you said, they're yours. And now you have to live with them. She stepped closer, hesitating. I wanted to tell you, before everything, before the wedding, that I'm sorry, that I never stopped caring. I shook my head slowly, letting my words land deliberately. Sarah, caring isn't enough when actions contradict it. You left without explanation, without thought for me. You decided comfort and status mattered more than love, trust, or loyalty. That is the truth. Her lips pressed thin, no argument coming. I let silence linger, heavy and sharp. I hope you understand one thing, I said finally, voice calm but piercing. I've grieved. I've hurt. But I've also grown stronger, wiser, unshakable. I'm not here to plead, to fight, or to cry. I'm here because I chose to stand tall, even when you tried to break me. She swallowed hard, eyes glossy. I can't change anything, can I? No, I said softly, almost regretfully. You can't. The only thing left is for me to walk away, knowing I am no longer powerless. That's my closure. Not your words, not your regret. My strength is my closure. Her shoulders slumped, the fight gone. Sohail, I'm sorry, she whispered again, barely audible. I know, I said simply. And that's all you get. Knowledge. Because I am not asking for anything else. Not tears, not apologies, not pity. I learned what I needed to learn from this. She looked at me, stunned, almost afraid. I noticed the subtle tension in her posture, the realization that I had moved beyond her influence, that the man she left behind had risen, calm, composed, unbroken. I straightened, adjusted my jacket, and gave her one last steady look. Goodbye, Sarah. I hope someday you understand what you had and what you lost. But it won't be my burden to carry anymore. She nodded slowly, unable to speak. I could see the words stuck in her throat. The regret was real, but the time for change was gone. I turned, feeling the weight lift from my chest. Every step I took back into the reception hall felt lighter, freer. I wasn't haunted by betrayal, humiliation, or heartbreak. I had faced it, spoken my truth, and walked away with dignity intact. For the first time in months, I felt fully in control of myself. The confrontation had given me closure, not by changing her, not by seeking revenge, but by reclaiming my own power, my own voice, and my own life. I lingered near the balcony, a quiet observer among the bustling wedding guests. Music floated in the background, laughter blending with chatter, but I barely noticed. My eyes were on Sarah, her posture stiff, the forced smile she wore faltering in subtle ways. Fahad's voice cut through the room. "Sarah, I can't believe you agreed to this without telling me all the details. You didn't even consult me on the seating arrangements." Her laugh was sharp, a brittle edge that betrayed her panic. "I thought you trusted me to handle things. I didn't realize it would upset you." "Trust?" he shot back. "You make decisions without considering anyone. That's not trust, that's selfishness." I raised an eyebrow, a small smile tugging at my lips. Karma, I thought. It wasn't mine to deliver. It just unfolded naturally. Nearby, a guest whispered to another, voice barely audible. "I've always said she's manipulative. Poor Sohail had no chance. Looks like the truth catches up eventually." I sipped my champagne, letting the words settle. The satisfaction wasn't in gloating, it was in watching life reflect reality, quietly and perfectly. Ali appeared at my side, grinning. "Look at that. You're like a shadow, just observing. And wow, Sarah's world is cracking without any push from you." I nodded, eyes still fixed on her. "It's more satisfying than I imagined. All the bravado, the smiles, the perfect image, just tiny fractures showing. And I don't have to do a thing." Mayhawk joined us, her expression softening as she noticed my composed stance. "You look different, strong, at peace." "Stronger, maybe," I admitted. It's strange, watching her unravel while I stand here calm. But it's also liberating. I see clearly now that dignity and patience are their own victory. Mayhawk smiled, the warmth in her eyes catching me off guard. "I think you found yourself again. And maybe something more than yourself." I chuckled lightly. "Perhaps, but for now, I'm enjoying the show." Back on the main floor, Fahad's frustration was becoming more apparent. "Sarah, why did you promise the band one thing and then arrange another? We agreed. I don't like being blindsided." "I thought it would be better this way. Everyone will enjoy it," she stammered. Her friends shifted uneasily, exchanging glances that spoke louder than words. I could see their judgment forming. Not cruel, not spiteful, just natural recognition. Her carefully curated image of perfection was showing cracks under the weight of her own choices. Ali nudged me. "Notice the way she's shrinking under scrutiny? All the confidence she flaunted, fading. Life has its own way of delivering lessons." I nodded, letting my gaze soften as I watched the scene. "I'm not here to humiliate her. I'm here to observe, and it's beautiful in a quiet, inevitable way." Mayhawk tilted her head. "You're enjoying this, but you're not mean about it. That's what makes it different. You've grown." I met her eyes, a flicker of something unspoken passing between us. Growth is realizing that revenge doesn't need to be loud. Sometimes you just need to survive, thrive, and watch life show the consequences. Fahad's voice rose again, more strained this time. "Sarah, you didn't even consult me about the guest list. Some people you invited have history with us. This isn't smart." Sarah's hands twisted, the bouquet trembling slightly. "I thought it would be fine." I didn't realize it mattered that much, another guest whispered to a friend, barely keeping it discreet. She always thinks she's clever. It's like every selfish action comes back to bite her. Poor planning. Poor choices. Karma. I let a slow smile curl, quiet but firm. This wasn't schadenfreude. This was clarity. Life was showing me what I needed to see. No schemes, no confrontations, just truth manifesting naturally. Ali leaned closer. You could go talk to her, but I'd say let it play out. You've already won, Sohail. Look at her. Tense, uncertain, everything she tried to control slipping. And you? Calm, composed, stronger than ever. I nodded, lifting my glass slightly. Exactly. I don't need to act. Presence and patience have already done their work. The cracks are visible and I can finally breathe knowing I'm above it. All. Mehak touched my arm gently. And through all this, you've kept yourself intact. You've shown real strength. I met her gaze steadily. It feels good. To realize that standing tall, being patient, and trusting yourself is more satisfying than any immediate revenge. And maybe even more than I expected, there's someone worth noticing along the way. She smiled, and for the first time that evening, I felt the weight of tension lift fully. The future was uncertain, yes, but for the first time in months, it was mine to shape. Across the room, Sarah's forced smile faltered again as Fahad criticized another minor detail. Her friend's whispers, her own subtle gestures of panic, the slow unraveling, it all unfolded before me. I didn't intervene. I didn't need to. I simply observed, calm, confident, and free. Karma had found its course, and I was standing in the quiet triumph of survival, dignity, and a life rebuilt. And somewhere near me, Mehak's presence reminded me that growth could bring more than just revenge. It could bring something genuine, something new. The reception was winding down. Guests laughed, clinked glasses, and exchanged farewells, but I moved through it all quietly, observing, reflecting. Sarah stood near the head table, her posture tight, eyes darting toward me occasionally. I didn't flinch. I didn't need to. Ali caught my eye, leaning in with a grin. You ready to leave? Or are you savoring the finale? I smirked faintly. I'm savoring it, but in a different way than most would expect. No gloating, no revenge, just clarity and peace. Mehak appeared beside me, her presence calm and reassuring. You've been unbelievably composed tonight, watching everything unfold without being dragged into it. I learned a long time ago, I said, voice quiet, steady. You can't control what others do, only how you respond. And tonight, I'm responding with dignity. Sarah approached from across the room, hesitation in every step. Sohail, can I held up a hand gently. Sarah, this isn't a conversation about trying to fix anything. You already know what you lost, and I've already found what I needed. Myself. Her lips pressed thin, eyes glossy with tears. I realize now what I did, what I threw away. I didn't understand until... You didn't understand, I interrupted calmly, and that's the point. Regret is yours to carry. I've lived it, suffered it, and survived it, but you can't undo the choices you made. She swallowed hard, nodding. I see that now. You've changed so much. You're strong. I allowed a small, measured smile. Strength isn't about being loud or vengeful. It's about surviving, growing, and walking away with your head high. Ali chuckled softly behind me. Look at you, philosopher warrior of weddings. I laughed lightly. Something like that. But really it's just life-teaching lessons. Some harsh, some subtle. Tonight I see both. Mehak leaned slightly closer. And you've passed the test beautifully. I've never seen anyone handle heartbreak with this kind of composure. Thanks, I replied, feeling warmth in my chest. It wasn't easy. Heartbreak doesn't disappear overnight, but surviving it, that's the victory. Not the humiliation, not the betrayal, not even the revenge I imagined. The victory is being whole again. Sarah's voice cut through softly, trembling. So, Hale, do you forgive me? I met her gaze, calm, unwavering. Forgiveness isn't what I need. Closure is, and I have it. I forgive myself for allowing her actions to define me, and that's enough. She nodded, the tears spilling freely now. I never thought it would feel like this. Empty. I thought happiness was only outward in appearances. I was wrong. You were, I said simply. Happiness isn't in status or wealth. It's in peace and integrity, in standing tall when life tries to knock you down. Fahad passed by, muttering something under his breath, tension written all over his face. I caught Sarah's glance at him, a flicker of frustration and realization crossing her features. Karma doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, sharp and inevitable, I thought. Ali nudged me lightly. Time to walk away, my friend. You've seen the lesson, felt the closure, and now it's yours to keep moving forward. I nodded. Yes, forward. Mehak touched my arm, lightly, almost shyly. Are you really ready? I smiled, more fully this time. I am. I've endured betrayal, heartbreak, humiliation. I've grown stronger, wiser, and I've reclaimed myself. Tonight I walk away, not bitter, not seeking revenge, just free. She smiled softly, a hint of something unspoken between us, a quiet promise of trust and connection. Then let's leave together, for the new path. I offered my hand, which she accepted with a small laugh, and together we walked toward the exit. The music faded behind us, the laughter and clinking glasses diminishing as the doors opened. To the night air. Outside, the cool breeze hit me, refreshing, liberating. The streetlights cast long shadows, the world feeling vast, open, full of possibility. I felt the weight of months of pain lift completely. Every betrayal, every sleepless night, every doubt, it all fell away. Ali waved from behind, grinning. Looks like the man's officially unbreakable, I chuckled quietly. Unbreakable, for now. Mehak's hand brushed mine gently. Not just unbreakable, ready for new beginnings. I glanced at her, feeling a steady warmth, a sense of balance I hadn't known existed before. Yes, new beginnings. Real ones this time. And as we walked together into the open night, I felt it. Freedom. Clarity. The sense that my life was truly mine again. The past had its place, but it no longer defined me. I had triumphed not with anger, not with schemes, not with vengeance, but with patience, growth, and dignity. Sarah's regret was hers, visible in every subtle gesture, but it was no longer my concern. The story of betrayal had ended. My story of resilience and self-respect was just beginning. I inhaled deeply, the cool air filling my lungs, and smiled quietly. This is the start of something real, something stronger, something mine. And with that, I stepped fully into the night, leaving behind the echoes of heartbreak, the whispers of judgment, and embracing the bright, open horizon ahead. My path, my choice, my freedom.